Hey, individual person, it's exciting times for Space Engineers. I'm with Space Engineers 2 being potentially on the horizon. Everyone buckling up to go 10,000 years into the future. I'm going to attempt to play in the past in this primitive like survival challenge I've set for myself here. I'm going to be attempting to play the game without using power of any kind. Well, one kind, or one teeny weeny little exception, and that's just going to be that I can use the power in my suit for tools, and I can refill my suit's power with power kits. Because otherwise I would run out of power and the challenge would just be over when I eventually freeze to death. First thing we do right off the start is we turn off the spawn pod because we're not using any power and the parachute consumes power. I've decided whether we live or die on impact will just be luck. Are we going to survive this? I don't know. Yes, actually. So far things aren't looking too bad. Okay, so for this I have turned jetpacks off, I've turned progression off, I changed the day-night speed to 20 minutes, I increased the object limit to 1024. 1024 because that's the max. I salvaged a bit of the spawn pod while still leaving some as to not waste too much power using my grinder. The sun set pretty much immediately after this. I made sure to open my helmet and turn my antenna off to conserve as much power as possible. I spent the entire night after this run-in, basically just hoping I'd come across an unknown signal. So far, not much luck. If you're unaware, these juicy looking signal containers have the potential to have power kits in them, which I desperately need as it's the only way for me to charge my suit. After running for a while, I found my first unknown signal on the second day, finally. Hey, there we go. Finally, we got one. No power kit, unfortunately. I ran a few kilometers, and then I spent the rest of the day and night running. Seriously, I should name this video Playing Run-In Simulator. Got to watch a stunning sunrise this morning, and for a moment, I felt at peace. And then it started raining. Thanks, nature. At this point, I realized power kits might not be as plentiful as I had hoped. I had been running for 3 days at this point now. Would you like to know what is plentiful? Regret for this video. Near the end of the third day, I found another unknown signal. My hopes were high, maybe a little too high. Went to open it, and the dang thing started running away from me. It just lied to me. Well, this is looking promising. This is a little bigger. Where are you going? Quit! Quit flying away! Eventually I caught it and busted that bad boy open in a no power kit. A big surprise, they are great. Shortly after, I faced a tough choice, head to a nearby ore processing facility or trek to the DVAG station. Oh. Processing facility? I can run 6 kilometers that way. Potentially they might have power cells. I think I'm gonna have to take the gamble, because if I keep running this way, I'll probably die before I get to the VEG station. You see, at this point, I was starting to get pretty worried. I had realized that even though the air is breathable and I can survive with no power during the day, the nights are a totally different story. Every night so far, I've gotten cold, and without my suit powered to keep me warm, I was unsure if I could survive these conditions. So I went with a much closer processing facility. Early on the fourth day, I found out I would have to scale this ravine to reach my destination. I've already veered multiple kilometers off course by this point. I simply don't have the power supply to turn back. The day started with me trying to plan a way down this massive gap. Plan is a strong word here, as it's more like fall and hope the steel frame would break my fall. So I've done a little experimenting before, and I wouldn't say that I really know how it works. But I think if you're standing on top of a block and you're falling, and I don't get flung off the block, I might be able to break my fall. Ooh, kinda. What's that log rolling thing they do called? This is getting very sketchy, actually. This is a very steep cliff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm really surprised that worked. Survived the fall, surprisingly. Fortunately, climbing the other side wasn't much of a challenge. I made it to the facility, finally, after 4 days of walking, and about an hour and a half IRL. I broke in through the roof to save on time and energy, grinding the airlock, desperately hoping for power kits, but again, just left empty-handed. Well, I would have left empty-handed if I could get out. The 10,000 IQ decision I made earlier of going through the roof wasn't looking quite as clever anymore. After some time had passed, I had realized I can place small grids, and I can build sort of a makeshift staircase and platform my way out. Before I escaped, I had realized that I can charge my suit from the seats or beds in the station. However, quickly after using the bed and realizing what had happened, I had hopped out immediately and decided this was cheating since I said I would only use power kits. Charge me? It does. Is that cheating? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not even gonna use that 8 power to get out. I'm gonna try to climb out. So I scaled my way out of the station, using my Fortnite-like skills to avoid turret fire. Hopefully, it doesn't just shoot me randomly if I... Ah! Yeah, take that. Oh, crap. Better move. Head towards this unknown signal that has fallen nearby. It's getting dark and I have no power. I was trying my best to beeline straight for the signal, but before I could get there, I started taking health damage. As I suspected, you do die in the cold without power. Briefly, I had tried gunning it for the signal, and then I realized I don't have enough time. I'd never make it. Trying to think quickly, I thought if I could get to lower ground, it may be warmer, so I rushed straight down the cliffside, trying to get as low as possible. I really wanted to see what was inside this unknown signal. Maybe if I go to lower altitude, it'd be warm. Please quit killing me. Is it doing less damage? For a second, I seemed to be dying slower. Or maybe this was my imagination. There's not really much time to think here. I ran out of room to keep going down, and I'm too far from the signal now, so even if it did have a power kit, I couldn't make it. That's it. Well, this is how I died. After surviving everything that had come before, my spawn pod crashing, days of walking, falling great distances, and breaking and entering, I froze to death. Well, I've kind of already spent a while recording this video. I've probably spent about 2 hours recording at this point, so I spawned again. I spent all day building a push cart this time to pull around, kind of trying to collect any scrap I could find, or slide down hills to hopefully decrease my travel time, and that worked for all of about 5 seconds until it decided to fly off and leave me. I did not expect to be going 75 meters a second right after I built this. Oop. Oop. Oh no, I fell off. Come back. I spent all day building that cart, and I ended the day cartless and slightly more bitter. On day 6, I tried to do something similar, but I went with a much more lightweight design this time. It was going well up until it wasn't. Come on. Come on. Wrong way. Wrong way, Cardi. Come on. No, don't do this to me. I got this little bad boy stuck in a valley here before I just decided to abandon the whole idea. Maybe I'll try again when I get to smoother terrain, but as it is, the carts really don't like me. Most of the day was spent respawning because all my plans had the structural integrity of wet cardboard, and I convinced myself the only way to survive was to live off of a nearby station where I could resupply on power kits regularly. A weird way to die, but alright. I mean, assuming I could get money regularly. After running 14 kilometers, I found this really nice looking valley here, and kind of gave me an idea of maybe just being able to slide down this hill and slide all the way across, and I tried building a basic sled with the resources I had available, which was not much. It fell apart almost immediately, fortunately sparing my life by kicking me off before that. Spent all day running to the station. I made it right around dark. Finally, after so long, I got my power kits. Felt like Christmas morning. I should be set on power for a little while now. I mean, finally, I can postpone freezing to death. Things I can do at this station are pretty limited. I figured I wouldn't be able to do any of the search contracts because of the short time limit I had. I would never be able to walk to any of them, let alone find the missing object before they expired. I would need to stockpile much more resources before I could do any acquisition contracts. I can't walk 22,000 kilometers through the atmosphere and then through space to do any hauling contracts. I don't have any ship or defense contracts, so I'm kind of just here stuck again. I mean, I got a little more power, but all I've really done is delay the inevitable. I can't make any money to buy any power kits. I have the 8 or 9 that I bought, and I'm gonna have to use one of them soon. So I'm on limited time here. Well, at this point, I've been recording for over 3 hours, and I decided this would probably be a good place to end it. I'll probably cut this up quite a bit into a really short and condensed video. If anybody really wants to see, like, me pick this back up, I can. Like, I was very curious, like, if I can find a way to supply myself with the power kits and like work up a supply of like continuously getting power kits. I'd like to try to see if we could get to space. Maybe we could like cobble together like a staircase or something. This video did take a pretty long time to make. I know it's not going to be a long video, but you know, I work like a full-time job and stuff too, so if you made it this far, I do really appreciate it. I spent a lot of time on this. I have a lot of fun making these challenge videos, so I'm not really complaining, but if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you all later.